Aloha everyone, this is Leimomi Keliikuli, Intuitive Soul and Mindset Coach, and we are here with Antonina, and we are going to talk about empowering you to remember your divinity, and we're going to share more about how you could actually align, in a more empowering way, and whatever else comes up, so we'll see what happens. So, Antonina, why don't you tell us more about like who you are, what you do, how did you really become a genius, master genius at what you do? What inspired you to do what you do now?
Oh, I like the master genius quote. First of all, one of the things that I say that your genius is also your biggest blind spot, right? So, which is why it is such a it's it's both the hardest thing to find and it's the biggest jewel that you can come across. And so this is where like really you want to be putting your efforts first and foremost. You of course know all about that me having created the system, but anyway, so my name is Antonina Andreeva, aka the Coachinista, and I'm a soul DNA coach for awakened, purpose driven women. So I'm really passionate about working, supporting, guiding, mentoring women who are here, and when I say here on planet Earth, to really make a difference at this time, at this very important time for as we're going through the Earth's ascension, as we're going through this transformation on a personal level, but also on an evolutional level. And so I truly believe that, so I work with women who have heard the call, and it's a call that's coming, from inside of them. And perhaps they've tried to ignore that call before distracting themselves or going off path, but the call just kept getting louder and louder, and so they're no longer able to ignore what it's trying to say to them. But at times, because they've been suppressing and ignoring it for so long, at times it is hard for them to actually understand what it's asking them to do. And so I see it as my job, I see it as my purpose to really kind of get to the core of what it is that their soul wants to say to them, and what it is that they came here to do, and how did they came here to be, and really kind of help them reclaim that sovereignty, reclaim that truth, reclaim that power, and become that which they were meant to become. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, I guess, a roundabout way of saying, helping them find their true genius, and helping them realize it in this world.
I like that. You have a different perspective on how you help them to get to whatever level that they are, like digging deeper, but looking at different levels, right? Their DNA, what's like blocking them, what's their strengths, and all of that, to really, really bring out their kind of genius, right?
Yeah, totally. So again, like I believe, that from the moment we are born, we are so like we're almost conditioned not to trust ourselves. Like our parents know better, our schools, our teachers know better, our bosses, our managers, our mentors know better. So it's always, our government knows better, our society knows better. So there's always this message about not trusting yourself fully. And so we are living out so many stories that are have nothing to do with our true core, and our true calling and our true soul. That I see it as I use the tools that I have, such as Akashic records and DNA activation, coaching, talking therapy, energy therapy, to kind of help to excavate and I'm getting an analogy of like, when they used to go hunting for diamonds, so like excavate all the stuff, like all the rubble around it, so that like we can really get through to the diamond, which is your soul and who you truly are. And again, and to allow you the space for remembrance, like really reconnecting to your truth in essence.
Mm-hmm. So from your perspective of your genius, right, like why is it really important like to know such things like this in order to create a life of success?
Sure. Well, I have this theory that like if everybody in this world were doing what it is, were honest about what it is that they loved and did what it is they loved, like we would instantly shift. Like this whole ascension business would go much faster because everyone would be in their place, and everyone, you know, from an energetic point of view, it would be like pure essence of being in gratitude, being in flow, being in alignment, in doing what you came here to do. So like, yeah, the world would just become a better place. And so I know, and also of course there's a personal perspective. I know what it's like not to be involved in things that you are not enjoying or not wanting to do, and just how degrading it is for your soul, for your personality, for your human, that it just slowly chips away at you until there is nothing left. And I know when I was in that situation myself, I've you know, and I was praying for a different solution. I said, I want to be leaping out of bed with gratitude in the morning for living the life that I'm living and doing the work that I'm doing. Because like, if I'm going to be doing something for however many hours a day, like I want to be enjoying it. I want to be, I want to be gaining something from it, not just giving something away, not just giving my time away.
Yeah, that's true. Like we don't really have that time to really think about like really what I want until like you're like, I don't like that, or
right, until we're in the hole. Exactly. And you have to climb out. Exactly that.
So when you were growing up as a child, like what lit you up? Like how does that have to play with like who you are today and have become today?
Such a good question. If I wanted three things. I wanted to be a witch, a witch princess witch. I wanted to be a weather girl, and I wanted to be, I think, an MTV presenter. So the way I see it now, like the MTV and the weather girl, it's really like working online, right?
Right.
You live streams, you make videos, so you show up as yourself. I think the witch is pretty self-explanatory. That's my wild mystic side coming out to play. And somebody asked me that question the other day. It was more like, which books did you read? And I was like, you know, yeah, back in the day I wanted to make wish, so I guess I got my wish. I got my wish because it's like a modern iteration of that.
That's awesome. Most people, they say, I want to be a firefighter, or, you know, like you were like, I want to like use my spiritual part.
I believed in magic, and like I wanted everything to be magical, and just like I knew I had this very profound connection with nature. I bet like all of us have it. But yeah, I guess a part of me wanted to retain it. So it's like that is what I'm most grateful for these days, is that I get to cultivate, play magic every day for living. Like, what's not to like? With a little bit of MTV and Weather Girls. Oh, right. There was one more. Sorry. There was another one. There was a stewardess. So that, I believe, is like giving people direction and taking them to their destination.
I love that. It's like the love for your travel, love for nature, love for
right, exactly
spiritual stuff. Like you really kind of embody it through your coaching practice.
So yeah, in essence, I'm living out all my childhood dreams.
So tell us a vulnerable story, you know, of your life or your business. Like what did it feel like to be misaligned, and like how did you get, you know, really back into alignment?
Well, I consider myself to be a field researcher by nature, meaning that like I really I think I'm good at what I do because I have to experience it on my skin. So the misalignment one was a really interesting one because there was a lot of trying. I was trying to do things by the book. I was trying to follow somebody else's system. I was trying to show up in a certain way. I was trying to be, I don't know, organize or launch in a particular way. And there was a lot of trying, and because of that, there was a lot of frustration. And I guess it was just like spinning my wheels, getting more and more deeper into despair, not being able to, like falling out of, like the best way probably to put it is falling out of love with my business. So I had this massive potential, so much drive, so much passion. Like my passion is my coffee, I'm powered by it. And yet I kept hitting a wall. I wasn't making as much as I would want it to be making, but really I wasn't. If you were to like look deeper into it, it was just I wasn't making as much of an impact that I wanted to be making, because of the misalignment. I would be spending most of the time doing activities like marketing and doing less of what I love, which is coaching people, helping people, just like working with actual people. And I just remember it being really frustrated and painful, because I knew that that's not what I came here to do, which is why I'm so passionate about showing people the other day. And I had this message, and yet I was like caught up in this trap. And it's a dark place to be. So I remember hearing about this. I remember thinking, it's like there must be another test, there must be another software, there must be something that can help me figure out and navigate this thing, because I know the answer is right there, but I just cannot see it. And so I think really, if I were to, and this is so interesting, you're gonna like this. So it was one of the things that really helped me to kind of start coming back is, of course, coming and seeing you and working out my manifesting blueprint and really getting familiar with the gifts, and then slowly but surely kind of starting to integrate them into my reality. And so what I wanted to share with you specifically is, I remember one of the things that obviously was in my soul blueprint was in terms of reverse engineering things, right? And so just the other day, I decided to do something. So everything became in place, and I was like, oh, I'm doing it naturally. So, so some pieces came in straight away, something like just realizing who you are from a soul perspective was just like, whoa. And some things like I said, the reverse engineering bit kind of slotted in when they were ready to slot in. And so they kind of like all these pieces just brought a lot of clarity, and then it was a matter of integrating them and playing around and making sure, like finding, I guess for me it's very important to finding my own way of doing things, taking into consideration the information that I had to hand.
That's really amazing how you had to like use parts of your blueprints to like remember which part you needed to do. It's like taking a step back, right? Like what steps I need to do, and then you start doing it. It's always
so I think sometimes we kind of I mean, I know sometimes like we feel like, oh, this is going to be the solution, but it's like that's part of the solution, that's the roadmap. You still have to make it your own. So I think once I stepped away from this, it has to be a certain way, like, and that's my thing. That's why I always have to put my own spin on it. So once I was like, okay, so once I'm gonna start enjoying and start putting my own spin on it, it just like seamlessly started coming into place. And then alignment just feels beautiful and easy and effortless. I think that's probably, if I were to say it in one word, which is, I'm in Mintak and I can't say anything in one word, it would be effortless. It just feels like very effortless flow and grace.
Yes, totally. So when you feel like giving up, what like keeps you going?
When I feel like, do you know what? I think I'm at this current stage, I'm past the point giving up. That was probably more so kind of like more last year thing. I'm so connected to what I'm doing. I'm so connected to my message. I'm so connected to my personal evolution that I do not think about it. I sometimes think there could be more hours in the day, or you could do more, but never kind of like, ugh. But if I am in a funk, because we all get in a funk, sometimes it's an upgrade. Sometimes, you know what, the best thing is to step away, take a break. Again, there is this big kind of hustle mentality on the internet. Like, you know, we're all kind of so passionate and we're working towards it, but it's like, the world will not stop spinning if you take a break or even a week or even 2 weeks. Life will go on, you know, leaves will grow. So I think the best thing to do is always to step back and concentrate on whatever. Or the best thing for me is to travel, because that gives me a different perspective, and it allows me to look at things from a different point of view, and just like take away that intensity. And once you take away that intensity, grace has space to come in.
True, totally true. So how would you define success, and what kind of pain, you know, did you endure, you know, to get to where you're now?
I think success for me is one of the things that I said, which is, you know, leaping out of bed in the morning with gratitude and appreciation. So I'm going to tick that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So being able to do what you love, like, and to do it on your terms, that's like freedom, tick. Being able to be truthful and open about who you are, and being okay with whatever feedback you're going to get as a result, because you're just so comfortable in your truth. Take being able, again, to just do what you love and do it on your terms, and being able to give back, right? So be doing something that really fulfills you, rather than just passing time. And of course, like, yes, financial is I think the financial in that case becomes the cherry on top of the cake. It's like you're doing all of this and you're getting paid for it. Yeah. So I think success for me is a stacking of all of those things. But if I were, again, to kind of try and define it, it's the personal freedom to be who I am and do what I do in a way that serves me or suits me best, so totally on my terms, and just show up and have fun while doing it and learning, right? Because like when you're in that position, you're always evolving, you're always learning. So it's kind of like, thinking about it now, it kind of, yeah, like satisfies all my needs. I'm good.
I love how you're saying exactly your superpowers. Like, so cool to see how much you've shifted to, like,
yeah, it's really good to reconnect. And of course, I'm sure there is a recall of like how I came in and where I'm at now. So yeah, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. Like I said, just the other day I was thinking about you, because I'm like, oh my God, finally I got it. I'm organizing, I'm planning, and I'm reverse engineering. I'm loving it.
Yes, because you're following your soul's design rather than, you know, following someone else's design that really isn't going to serve you. And it's like unlearning how to just like trust that you already know that, like you already know I think you do it.
Yeah, I think what you said right there is a very important piece. And perhaps this is what, for me personally, I wanted to work in. And I can imagine, you know, others where you just need to learn how to trust and allow that trust to be returned, the universe to return that trust to you. And then, so that's where co-creation begins. I feel like, you know, the work that you do, it teaches, it's the step up from manifesting. Manifesting is kind of like willing and pushing, whereas co-creating is you meeting the universe halfway and working together on whatever it is, bringing whatever it is into physical.
Yes. And it's kind of using your spirituality as your tool to manifest and changing your mindset so you can actually receive it. This is actually what I'm realizing what the blueprints is all about. It's like really redefining all the different levels of mindset that really, limiting blocks, right? Limiting beliefs, blocks that you keep yourself from doing that, and then doing it on purpose, like manifesting towards your soul that makes sense, that feels good, that's not pushing, it's just like, wow, that was amazing, like it actually, what you wanted actually just was created because you were in alignment, because you trusted it, because source and God always give you exactly what you need and what you want when you need it.
Yeah.
So it's funny how when you really like go with that flow, the thing that you really have been resisting or the thing that you really wanted to create, like it just starts to appear because you're shifting from within your mindsets at the same time.
Yeah. So I would imagine it offers flexibility, and so the conscious mind doesn't have that opportunity to step up and kind of, it has to be like this, it has to be more, it's like letting go of control, but becoming, I don't know, as you were talking, I kept getting analogy of water. When you're soft but determined at the same time, right? Water is soft, but it always gets to where it wants to, or if there is something in the way, over time it will take it down, or it will flow around, it will always find a way. And I think women, this is a very powerful symbol to relate to, because water is, one of our kind of, it's a very powerful concept to relate to, because so we can be soft and powerful at the same time.
Yeah, and it goes back to what what our topic is about, like empowering you to remember your divinity, because you remember your divinity by really flowing like water and feeling and going through whatever needs to happen, right? Like it's not clear cut, but when you are like water, you just flow with it, things minus itself out, the things that you want starts to appear, right? Like all of that all happens by the alignment.
For sure, yes. It's balancing the masculine and the feminine. It's removing, like you said, all those blocks, the belief systems, or the kind of energetic debris that I call them, that in essence, unbecoming everything that you are not, in order to become that which you are, which is a gradual process. But the end result would very much be like water. And part of the thing that with water is, of course, it's the source and the creation of it's one of the main sources in the creation of everything. So in that, you become truly, your power becomes magnified, your essence becomes expanded and magnified. And that in itself feels effortless.
True, totally true. So what advice would you give to someone, who's just really starting to get into their genius, like, how you have, like, what helped you decide to do the work, right, that you love, to create a soul-aligned life and business, that you truly become an expert in your industry?
I think it all starts with knowing thyself, right? The really knowing thyself on a very deep level. So what I would recommend somebody who is connecting to their genius, well, besides working with yourself or myself, is if I were to say, is the question around practical tools or kind of in theory? So in theory, it would be really take the time to understand yourself. Like, who are you? If we remove your roles as a daughter, a wife, a mother, a friend, a sister. So remove all of this kind of layers, like who are you at your core? Take the time to really understand that, because again, if you were to go online and you look at all the transformative stories, all the transformation always seems to happen when the person finally realizes that that change that they're seeking is really to be found deep there. So like I'm proposing a shortcut, like don't go out searching for, just go straight in there. And I guess in terms of if we were to take any tools, like I said, beyond the soul blueprint is probably journaling is, I find journaling really helpful. I know when I'm doing it or when I'm not doing it because of like the clarity of the channel, daily connection with nature, and daily kind of solitude. Definitely, like basically some sort of a spiritual practice that you cultivate and maintain, and that allows you to be connected with yourself and with source energy. So I think that needs to be foundational, and yeah, it needs to be practiced and cultivated on the regular, because if you're not doing it for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. And then if you're taking it from yourself, nobody else is going to give it to you. So it's really putting yourself at the center of everything. And I think that as a pillar really helps you to do that.
Yes, totally. Like starting from within and seeing all the different layers of who you are, like, and defining it and recreating what really works for you, right, towards your goals, and why you want that and why you're going in that direction. Like taking that time, I think like we don't really have much time to do that because we're thinking, I got to make money, I got to pay my bills, I got to be a better wife, or I got to do like something outside of ourselves.
Yeah, so taking that and making that the pillar of your strengths and everything, and I know that can be somewhat challenging, or but again, like I said, if that is not in place, nobody's ever going to do it for you, and without it, it's always going to feel like something is missing, that connection is missing, so you're always bound to look outside of yourself. So if we start with that, then like you said, we can move into how else can I feel that well, how else can I show myself that respect and honor and appreciation, and bring the other things in. But if you were to really start with something foundational, you would have to go back to that. And I'm laughing to myself because again, I'm saying what was in the blueprint. The difference is then I was reading it, but now I'm living it.
Yes. Once you get your soul alignment blueprints, it's just like what we're talking about. Like you just start to be empowered to be more your divinity. And then when you're being your divinity, you're like realizing, wow, what was I doing all this time? Like, why wasn't I connected the way I am right now? Like,
right. Like I was, as I was saying, I was like, my goodness, I remember that's like page 3 of where it described how to do things. It's crazy.
Yeah, we have to like remember. It's always like constantly remembering and then actually taking action towards it. That's what my soul line manifestation method is about. Like, take action towards it until you actually start manifesting the things that you want, right? Like on purpose.
I like when you say remember. I like to say it like it's coming into the being. So it's like starting to become it, and then as we become it, we realize, well, actually, that's the best place to be, or it's the most natural position for me to be in. It was the other thing was me trying. This is me just being.
Yeah, and that's how you know also you're not in alignment, is this like trying, working really hard when it really shouldn't be hard. And you already know it in your head, right? You're like, why is that so hard? But it's all of that limiting beliefs that you have that's like really stopping you from like realizing that this really shouldn't be hard,
Right. Yes. I think it's like noticing things where, if I just, like you said, if I just go at it a little hard, if I just give it another hour, that's when, so it's just like knowing that about yourself and having that awareness and knowing like, hold up a second. Do you remember how flow feels? Spending another time on Facebook is not flow. Or if you're sitting there trying to come up with inspiration, you're like, that's the key right there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the other day I caught myself doing that, and I was like, do you know why? Because you need to go for a walk. Because when you go for a walk and you do your thing and you go to the forest or you go to the beach, it just comes in, right? Effortless. right? You're sitting here for 50 minutes, like trying to give back to the to the idea. It's not happening. So it's, yeah, just realizing and recognizing that. But of course, once again, it starts from knowing yourself and knowing how you are and knowing what it feels like to be there. So now, I catch myself pretty quickly. I like to say I catch myself pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there any last things you want to share with us before we done here?
What I want to, what is it that I want to share is, I guess, if you're finding yourself in that stagnated, in that dark, in that hard place, just know and trust that there is a solution, there is another way, it's there. You just need to find it. And so it's the matter of starting to trust yourself, trust your instincts, trust your downloads, trust your intuition, trust your guidance, trust yourself. So yeah, if there's anything that I wanted to say, is just remember to trust yourself above anything and anyone else.
Yes, that's the core of alignment, is trusting within, and knowing that all the answers are already there, and
right,
and really follow, and like trusting and following that you'll be guided in the direction when you're ready. Actually, sometimes,
yeah, exactly. And that's such a good point to add. Yes, I think there is a lot of kind of like, it needs to happen now, but there is if I learned anything over the last years, the law of gestation. Like, everything happens at exactly the right time when the conditions are right. So if it's not happening right this second, it might be because it is not the time for things to happen, and something else has to come in its place. Right, my daughter's coming.
It's all right. Well, let's thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. Like, this is phenomenal stuff for everybody who's listening in. So how is it that we could reach out to you?
Yeah, so I know that it's kind of custom to offer a freebie or some sort of a download to share with your tribe. But I decided to be a rebel about it and instead offer an opportunity to connect with me personally. If what we talked about today with Leimomi resonated, if you felt the pull or the call, or like you felt a little ding dong go off in your heart, or maybe your head, I don't know. It's up to you to know where it goes off, and you're just interesting. Like, yeah, I would describe it as a pull. Then I would recommend that you head over to www.thecoachinista.com, or connect with me on Instagram at the Coachinista, or perhaps even on Facebook, and just reach out to me and connect. And I would love to have a conversation with you and just jam. Like, where are you at? What are you doing? Where are you going? And what will take you there? It is a kind of like a no pitch offer. If I'm the person to help take you there, that's awesome. And if not, then I have a supreme network of experts that I can point you in the right direction, or perhaps sometimes just a conversation is enough. So I'm all about connection and intimacy. So yeah, rather than offering PDF, I wanted to offer an opportunity to connect with myself. So I have a day. Thursday is usually my connection day. So if anyone is feeling the pull to reach out, then I'll be able to provide them with a link, and they can book in, and we can have that conversation.
And thank you so much for taking your time with us. Like, this was just an awesome conversation.
Yeah, it was so good to catch up. Thank you for having me, Leimomi.
So everyone else who's listening, next week we have another episode. So hopefully, you are getting so much out of this, and please share this with your audience, and
Absolutely.
share with your people of what you really feel that will take you to that next level and take everyone else also to be aligned to their soul. So until next time, I'll talk to you guys all very soon. Aloha.
Bye.